JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. June 27th, 2024. Really quick here for a pre-market rant. 8:51 on this fine Thursday. Talk quick about the markets. Excuse me. Talk about some of the names I'm looking at, some of the names I added yesterday, and go from there. S&P 2 days in a row to the upside after a 3-session losing streak. And we're kind of chopping around here. I think that bodes well. I keep saying 543 or so on the SPY. We came right down to 543 yesterday before bouncing. And probably not much. There's not much in the way of catouts outside of the PC data tomorrow. So hopefully some more chop here, some consolidation, and then some cooler than expected PC data tomorrow. Maybe that will stoke the market higher. The the little, and I wouldn't say the thing, I keep saying it almost like a broken record, but the small caps down 0.25% yesterday. One of these days, right? One of these days is going to start to move to the upside and not look back. But yesterday was not it, and we'll see what happens here today. Funny, the S&P 2 days in a row to the upside, small caps 2 days in a row to the downside. So some divergence. So some individual names looking at and trading. First is Roku. So Roku haven't traded since I think it had May strikes, and it's been chopping around since it's let's see here. Sorry, I'm pulling it back. Sorry about that, folks. So since pretty much the start of the year, the stock it opened near $100, had some rough earnings all the way down from I guess 95 or so down to 65, and it's been chopping around ever since, and kind of failing to find some footing. I talked about it, especially with what you saw with Netflix. I mean, Netflix has reversed the losses, uh, but it seemed like the hype around the cutting the cord uh, hype that's been going on for years seems like the market is kind of saying, okay, that cycle's over. Let's look to other things. And then Roku's kind of been, and I would say left for dead. It seems like it's almost forgotten. Stock now trades 2 times revenues. Finally, it is free cash flow positive. I think it's $400 million this current year. I think they've forecasted higher. So you start to look. I think maybe this is a name that starts to reverse and outperform. There's always been the specter of a buyout. I talked about on the rant yesterday. The headquarters for Netflix and Roku are close together. Roku was actually a part of Netflix before Anthony Wood left. So there's some synergies there. I'm not saying that Netflix would buy them, but that's always some kind of a possibility, albeit maybe a small one. And then you just look at the chart, and the 200-day moving average is, well, that's on the weekly. The 50 is $74 on the weekly. And if you look at the daily, the 50 days at $58. So key spot, put on the watches this morning. I think once it breaks over 58, it's off to the races, and then you'll get some FOMO folks. The FOMO crowd will start coming in saying, "Wow, look, Roku, it's ready to go. It was $100 to start the year," and things like that, and that kind of hype will start to build in. So really like Roku here, added July strikes and August strikes, historical lows in regards to premiums. It's very hard to get strikes on Roku this inexpensive at any time over the last couple of years. So if to me, it's the calm before the storm. So that's Roku. Chewy announced a $500 million buyback. Well, they there's a stakeholder, and they repurchased those shares from BC Partners, $500 million worth, and retired those shares. So right off the bat, if you're a shareholder, the value of your stock went up by 500 million, right? And that is also doesn't change. It doesn't change their buyback, $500 million buyback they announced in May 24th. So great news, I think. For some reason, I don't know if it's because the stock has rallied so much this week or not. The stock is down actually a little bit in the pre-market. Yesterday, Chewy was chopping around all the way up to 30 and change before closing down 2%. I I didn't want to be in a situation where I lost crazy profits on the calls, so I locked the rest of the July strikes in. I also locked some of the January calls in. Just mind-boggling to think that stock is up 14% this week. My January 70 strikes that I got for 18, they were up over 1,000% at times. So I have to take some of those profits off, and then I'll probably look to get some more strikes on strength today. Um, but I just I wanted to protect my profits. Didn't want to see premiums erode. So those were kind of the factors in why I closed the July strikes. It's not that I lost confidence in or my conviction that Chewy is going to trade into the mid to high 30s in the coming weeks. It just sometimes you got to you got to take 10 baggers off the table, right? So that's that. I'll continue to look for opportunities to play Chewy for upside, but I do think mid 30s, if not higher, in the coming weeks, and that's without any of the Ryan Cohen or GameStop meme craze that might come into the name. You know, it's got the 13% shortage. It's a great story for folks to pile in if they want to, you know, go from the GameStop to Chewy. So that's that. So that's Chewy. That's GameStop. TERN and alt, just horrible days yesterday. TERN was down over 8%. Alt just got smoked. I mean, it was looking great after the weekend and the ADA meeting and their updated data, and then it closed down 15% yesterday. Despite that move, it's only down 2% on the week. So still hopeful on those names. This morning, VKTX was initiated with a outperform rating and $105 price target at Morgan Stanley. Maybe that's the kick it needs, a VKTX, and maybe that pulls up all the other GLP-1 names. So still hopeful on turn. So lucky I had locked the June strikes in for some nice profits, and then I had locked most of my July 750s, and I added the July 10s. I'll probably look for some more strikes on turns if it shows some strength today. Probably wait for it to get back over $7. That's turns. That's alt. Oh, exact science. So EXAS, one of my top 5 stocks from 2 years ago, maybe. Great story. I mean, here's a name that when you have, you know, cancer and things like that just horrible diseases, when you have a company that might be able to help uh, prevent that, or at least catch it early. I mean, here's exact science, and you see those commercials. Anyway, I mean, it was up near 100 bucks a couple of years ago, or let's see, where it was 100 bucks. This year it started in the 70s, all the way up to, did it start in 70s? Yeah, it started 70 bucks, all the way up near 80 back in April, and then it's just pretty much cut in half. Yesterday, BTIG, an analyst came out, maintained their buy rating, gave it a $70 price target. Then you have this morning another analyst coming out with a outperform rating, $70 price target. Uh, it's a great story, and you know, I'm kind of hard to explain why it trades down here. It does have a 5% short interest. It trades a little over 3 times revenue, so maybe it's a little, I guess, premium valued. It's hard to even put into words. So definitely gonna look for some opportunities to play some calls here on Exact Science. I think it heads higher in the coming days. And I think that's about it. I'm trying to look at some of these other names. Dell, HPQ, I'm not going to talk about those today. Oh, last but not least is Spotify. And I say it yesterday, I think I say it almost on a weekly basis when it comes to Thursday and Friday. It seems like every week Spotify runs, or at least every couple of weeks, it has a crazy Thursday or Friday rally on no news, no catalysts, and for far out of the money calls are 5, 10, 15 times when it rallies. So still looking at Spotify. Nice move yesterday, or at least it held its gains. It's in here at 320 in the pre-market. I think it heads into the mid 330s, if not today, tomorrow. So don't be surprised if I had some calls there. I think that's it, folks. Let's have a great day. I'll be back on audio later. Rock and roll.